Welcome to the Red Devils District Podcast Update. Man United won, PSG won. What can we take from this game? It's a preseason game, like any other game. Both teams are working on their systems and patterns and welcoming back players who have returned from World Cup duty. I think for us, our focus was mainly integrating, obviously, Santos, Tillemans. Those are some of our new signings, and that's really important. I think. Let me start with Santos. I think he had a good game overall. If you looked at most of the ratings, most people gave him a 7.5 out of 10. I think personally for me, when I looked at the game, and I didn't look at the game live. I looked at the game post. When I really took my time and I looked at Santos, one thing I really liked about him is that how he was a good counter presser and an outlet against PSG press. We all know PSG under Luis Enrique, they're infamous for pressing, for having a very high and aggressive press. And I think even though they're academy players and a mixture of their first 11, and they're still missing players like Dembele and Hakimi, etc. I think the ability of Santos to show for the ball, collect the ball on the half turn, and drive upfield looking for outlets to break the channels. I think that was a great characteristic that I noted from him. I think other than that, he had a solid game, joining some attacks, dropping back to cover the defensive lines. I think he had an overall decent game. I will happily take 7 out of 10s for him for the whole season. The second biggest impression in that game was, in my opinion, Brian Mbeumo and Ivorian Messi, Ahmad. The right side was so aggressive in that game. It seemed like if most of our attacks came from the right side, and the chemistry between Ahmad and Mbeumo. And we saw that chemistry between them earlier on in the season before AFCON. And I think both of them returning from AFCON kind of threw off. Something happened in the AFCON where when they came back, that chemistry was gone. But they looked very, very, very well today. Ahmad was attacking up and down flanks, cutting in. And Mbeumo was kind of like shadowing in between the as a false nine, and then exchanging with Ahmad on the wing. So obviously he got his goal. That's gonna give him some confidence. I think Mbeumo will have a 20-point goal season this year. I am confident on that. I think him coming from Brentford, where obviously he scored 20 goals the season before he came to us, and then I think the season before that he scored like 15 or 17. I think he's gonna bounce back to 20 goals this year. I think now that he's gotten his legs under him and he understands the pressure and the dynamics of Manchester United and playing as a player of Manchester United, I think he's gonna step up to it. Other than that, we had a few second half changes with Tillemans coming on. I think he looked good with him and Bruno. I think him and Bruno, they are going to create a very good dynamic going forward for the team overall. They are both very offensive and on the front foot, and they love those Hollywood passes, which Bruno, as we all know, was criticized for drastically before he broke the assist record. Like the previous 2 or 3 seasons, people were always complaining about him with his Hollywood passes, but I'm like, why would you not want someone to have a Hollywood pass? Why would you want not someone to like breaking channels and forcing defenders to react? So overall, it was a good game. Carrick is still working on his patterns and what his philosophy and what he wants to kind of like establish. Sheshko is not there. That shin injury, we don't know the impact of it. It's kind of concerning me now because that injury, like I said on the previous podcast, that injury happened in May, the last week in May, and it's now almost the middle of August. So hopefully he can show against either Leeds or AC Milan, but we need him to start coming out. We need him to start coming out. Dog, who sort of played on the left wing a lot of this game, but sort of played on the left wing, and he switched to the right. There's still a lot of discussion up on whether Dogo should be a left back or left winger, or he can also play on the right wing, inverted. Time will tell. I think Carrick has his plans for what he will do and how he will implement him. I think Dogo has some technical ability. He's very direct. He has power and pace, but he does have some technical ability, as we saw with the Arsenal goal last year. So I think he could. Personally, I think he can be played as a left winger, as an option as a left winger, better than Cunha, because Cunha is sort of like a butterfly. He needs to be allowed to drift from left wing to middle to sometimes even right wing. I don't think Cunha should be marginalized on the left wing only. I think he needs to be allowed to drift in, similar to how he got that goal against Arsenal. Just let him float between left, middle, and right. Again, unfortunately, Mason Mount picked up an injury. Hopefully that injury is not anything too seriously. I know Carrick came out today and said that it was precautionary by the medical staff, but we all know Mason Mount's injury record at Man United. He has missed 55% of his games over his three to 4 year career at United. That's very startling. So any knock to me is not precautionary, because any knock for him, unlike Bruno, I think precautionary should be used for a player like Bruno, who has a stellar non-injury record. But I think that for a player like Mason Mount, if he gets a knock, we're all concerned, because we know that knock can turn from 1 month to 3 months. So I think with the potential injury by Mason Mount, because I don't believe what Carrick is saying, to be honest. I think he's just trying to cover and protect Mason Mount's psyche. We will definitely have to get another midfielder. I know some people are thinking that the transfer market, some people are happy with what the Ineos has done so far in the transfer market this year. I personally think that Ineos should be given the benefit of the doubt, because they did a good job last year discovering a lot of unhidden gems like Lamens. So I think they should be given the benefit of the doubt so far. But I do think that we do need a third midfielder and a left back to cover for Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw won't be able to play beyond 40 games consistently. Because we've qualified for the Champions League, we are now going to be in the minimum 47 games, maximum 67 games that we were going to be playing. So we're going to automatically off the bat play 7 more games than we did last season. So I don't think that having Luke Shaw as a primary left back is good business for Man United, because I think even though he's 31, I think he's still prone to getting some kind of injury that will take him out for some considerable time. Harry Maguire had a good game. Euro had a decent game. Nothing really to tell. PSG is playing the European Super Cup this week, so I thought they would have sort of tactically be more pressing on us, but to me, we could have won that game. I think Mbeumo had forced a save out of their keeper in the second half. That would have been goal bound. So it just all depends on how you look at the game overall and what you get and what you want to get from it. Don't forget, it's just preseason. We shouldn't really be making any serious judgments on preseason. It's preseason. Don't forget, under Louis Van Gaal, we went undefeated in the preseason, and then the first game of the season we got slapped by Swansea. So I always take preseason with a grain of salt. And the PSG game is actually my first game that I actually watched. The other games I mainly watched the highlights, but I wanted to see against PSG how the team will react and how the team will play against superior European opposition. Now, another breaking news happened today: the reintegration of Marcus Rashford, OBE, into the United squad. Now, you guys know how I feel about Marcus Rashford. I think his story is a great example for academy kids. The reason I said that, because I remember watching the game against Michelin when he got his debut, and people don't realize the reason why Van Gaal called him up, it was because Martial got injured, and then there was another academy player, I can't forget his name, another striker that got injured, and Marcus just so happened to get his opportunity. He came in, he scored 2 goals. Then the following week against Arsenal, he scored another 2 goals, and the rest is history. He never looked back, right? Then we kind of went along with the ride. We were hoping. Some people were even saying that Marcus Rashford he was on a goal scoring record to almost beat Wayne Rooney if he stayed with the club for as long as Wayne Rooney stayed. And people were even saying, yeah, he could break Wayne Rooney's record, but obviously that is not gonna happen as of today. But I think the main problem with Rashford is that things came to him so easily, and he just never lived up to the pressures. And to be fair to Marcus, right? To be fair to Marcus, he came into the club at a time where there was a lot of instability, going through 5 to 6 managers, not having any real senior players on the team to kind of help him, guide him. So it was easy for him to be like influenced and like kind of like not putting the hard work and the dedication and the focus to become a top professional. So I think there's blame on both sides to go around. I think the reintegration of him by the club is something that was probably signed off by Carrick, because as it came out, it wasn't Amarin that pushed him out, but it was more of the board that pushed him out or allowed him to go on loan. Now, whatever you say, no club in the world sends out a 27, 28-year-old player in his peak prime on loan unless they're trying to sell him or get rid of him. Players who go out on loan are mainly youth players or players who the clubs are trying to get rid of. And I think that was the case with Rashford. I think unfortunately the Barcelona deal fell through and he had to make a U-turn. Now, on the pod previously, we mentioned him coming back as a prodigal son at Man United, right? It's a great story. It's a great Hollywood it's a great Hollywood script for him to come back and stake his claim, kind of like the movie Gladiator, where Russell Crowe is told to win your freedom, you have to win the crowd, and like the emperor has to give thumbs up or thumbs down. So I think Marcus Rashford needs to kind of like embrace that gladiator, come back, win the fans over, because I think right now there are fans 50-50 on him being out and some who want him to be back with the team. I think there's a lot of I'm not going to get into the MUFC the MUFC, like player FC. I want to say player FC. I'm not gonna get into the player FC banter. I think for me personally, the time for Marcus Rashford has come and gone at United, and I think most of it is on him. The way he did the exit interview, the way he, in the latter stages of his time at United, because don't forget, he hasn't played for Man United in a year and a half. So I feel like the last few months before him being going on loan at Villa, you know, he just wasn't up to the task. And then he did that interview, and then he talked about him not wanting to. No, well, he talked about him going on to do a bigger challenge, and you know, but I'm like, during your time at Man United, you never won a Premier League, you never won a Champions League. So what challenges are you going to do? So that his wording in that interview was very bad to me. I think that didn't help him a lot, but you know, I think he can still change. There's not many people in life that get a chance to have a do-over, and Marcus Rashford is getting the opportunity of a lifetime to have a do-over, right? I said earlier with Femi, I was like, hey, would it be nice if he comes back and he gets a number 7 jersey from Mount, and it's a literal Hollywood script, you know, prodigal son comes home, you know, a great storyline. But hey, number 14 is 2 times number 7, right? So maybe he could be our Thierry Henry. But we'll see. So far, from what I've read and seen, that the team is welcome him back, and they have reached out to him on social media and stuff like that. I think Ahmad reached out to him. But we'll see. I think personally, he's on high wages. And like, if he's not living up to those high wages, we'll see how long that players are gonna be cool with them or performing him, or them losing playing time to him just because he's the number 1 or the number 2 highest paid player at the club. I think those things are gonna come into effect in the locker room over time. But I think if he comes in and he's playing, you know, as his salary predicts that he should play, I think everything will be fine. I think if Marcus Rashford comes in and has a GA of 25, 15 goals, 10 assists, I think all is said and all is good. Like water under the bridge. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Carrick has definitely signed off on him being back. I think the board respects Carrick enough to listen to him, and I think Carrick wants to work with him because Carrick obviously he played with him when he came back, and he coached him as an assistant coach. He probably knew him as an academy player also when Carrick was on the senior team. So I think they have a lot of chemistry, and they probably have a lot of mutual respect. I think if there's anyone to get the best out of Marcus Rashford, it will be Michael Carrick. So that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. That's why sometimes it's good to have coaches who are close to the team and understand the DNA and all those things like that, because they understand what it means to play for Man United, especially as an academy player as what Rashford is. So, you know, we'll see what will happen. The next game is Leeds United, and then the last game will be AC Milan. I really want to watch that AC Milan game against Amorim to see how just the entire interaction is going to be, if it's going to be very awkward or not. You know, Amorim was not a good manager for Man United. He may be a great manager in Portugal. He may be the best manager that AC Milan will have, and will probably put AC Milan back on course to their greatness, but he just wasn't a fit for Manchester United or the Premier League. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if Marcus Rashford will be an easy integration into the team? You know, do you want to see him as a left winger, or do you want to see him as a false nine, or kind of like playing left mid or right? And let me know what you think. How, if we will have any more signings, should we sign another left back? Should we sign a third midfielder to cover for Mason Mount in case of injury? These are all things that still need to be said. I think what's frustrating a lot of people in the media is that Manchester United is very coy and very cloak and dagger with their signings. I think most of the times all of our signings always got leaked ahead of time, and the media gets to scrutinize. But I think the media doesn't like it now that this current regime, they're moving very silent with their signings, and they cannot critique it anymore. So now they're getting upset at us that, oh, well, we don't know who they're going to sign. So, you know, let's just say, is Manchester United doing enough? Well, yes, we are doing enough. Just because you don't know what we're doing, that doesn't mean that we're not doing enough. Maybe the board thinks that they have signed enough players to compete. I think this upcoming season's Premier League is an open season, with the exception of Arsenal. They're the defending champions, so they should be respected as that. But I think it's fair game for everyone else from number 2 to number 6. I think it's fair game. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and we'll talk to you guys again, hopefully before the AC Milan game. All right, thank you, peace.